The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Hello again, everybody, and good morning, and welcome to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. It's time for Missouri Milestones, the podcast. We're season 1 all the way to episode 13 now here on August the 14th, 2025. We certainly appreciate you tuning in. Hey, and do us a favor. Share this with friends. Have them go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. Go to our Facebook page and like us. Follow us on Twitter at Scoreboard Guy and at Playing_Sports here. Guy Newcomb alongside Kent Mueller, and an exciting episode today here on Missouri Milestones, the podcast. Kent, what are we going to talk about?
Well, we started Missouri Milestones with 1,000-point career scoring lists for both boys and girls. And we now have over 1,500 boys and over 1,200 girls. It won't be long before we have combined lists totaling more than 3,000 Missouri athletes. Those lists will continue to grow as we dig out more of a Missouri high school history, and also as we record and recognize those who will cross that threshold each season going forward. Due to the strong response for the basketball career stats, we have expanded into 3 stats for football and 5 stats for volleyball, both boys and girls. For football, the thresholds are 4,000 passing yards, 2,000 rushing yards, and 2,000 receiving yards. For volleyball, the thresholds are 1,000 career kills, assists, or digs, and also 200 total blocks and 100 service aces. And it'll be fun to not only note athletes who achieve inclusion on more than one statistic in their sport, but also those who achieve inclusion in more than one sport. We know of some of those athletes, and we will find more. Some of you are wondering just where you can see these lists and how you can contribute. The easiest way to see the list is as they get updated just on a regular basis, and you can do that by following us on X. Follow Guy Newcomb at Scoreboard Guy, and follow me, Kent Mueller, on X at Playing_Sports. By following us, you will get updated lists as they become available. And when you see those lists, 2 other things that can happen include you seeing a correction that needs to be made, or you have athlete information that we need to include. All you have to do is email me at playingonsports@gmail.com. That's playingonsports@gmail.com. Now that you are following us on X and you know how to contact us, let's get to Missouri Milestones, the interview of the week. Guy and I had a great time this week when we were able to sit down with Lauren Aldridge. Lauren is a 2014 graduate of Marshfield. While there, she scored 1,751 career points. She went on to play at the University of Kansas. She made herself known early by being named to the All-Big 12 freshman team. After 2 years, Lauren transferred to the University of Missouri. After sitting out a redshirt year, she got right back on the court, again leading her team in minutes played. By the time she was a senior, she once again became a career 1,000-point scorer, and she started all 130 games as a collegian. Lauren's 3 years as a Tiger coincided with the last 3 years of Sophie Cunningham. Sophie is the Missouri all-time scoring leader and is now one of the most recognizable stars in the WNBA. I know you will like hearing what Lauren has to say about her long and very successful basketball career. So stay tuned until after this short break, and you will hear Lauren in her own words.
Leaders know there's no guide to greatness. When everyone else says something can't be done, they know it only hasn't been done yet. True leaders weather the fiercest storms and look deep within themselves to rise above and help others find their way forward. At Great Southern Bank, we're proud to partner with visionaries that help raise the tide for all of us. And when you're ready to bring your vision to life, we'll be right behind you with award-winning support.
The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Hello again. Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, presented by the Bank of Billings, established 1889, the oldest bank in Christian County. Also presented by the Missouri State Highway Patrol, who reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, be here tomorrow. Well, it's time for the Missouri Milestones of the podcast. Guy Newcomb alongside Kent Mueller. We welcome into the show Marshfield grad Lauren Aldrich. Lauren, how are you today?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me on, y'all.
You bet. You bet. And Lauren, let's go back. And a lot of this is high school related. We've talked with Cass Johnson and Addie Roller and Michaela Burgess and Jimmy Gummersbach from 1963. And they can all remember that first time back their freshman year, stepping on the court. What was that like for you? And take us back to those moments.
Yeah, I think it's pretty unique being from Marshfield with their tradition of girls basketball. And so growing up, I mean, I remember going to the games and thinking that all those girls were just like celebrities to me growing up. And so I remember really, really looking forward to being able to put on the jersey, to step on the court, and kind of hopefully leave a legacy like those that went before me did. So it was a pretty cool experience. I do remember like I started my freshman year and that was one of my goals. And so very warm memories of that first game with my teammates. So very cool.
You step on the floor as a freshman. Do you remember your first bucket?
I don't remember my first bucket. I wish I did. I'm sure my parents would know where I was on the floor, but I think I was probably too nervous at the time. I was just taking it, one possession at a time at that point.
Well, you scored 1,751 points in high school. Tell us a little bit about those rivalries, those games, and I don't mean any mean-spirited, but there's obviously teams that you look particularly forward to playing, maybe young ladies that you look forward to playing. Take us back to some of those times and some of those teams and players.
Yeah, I mean, just playing on like the AAU travel circuit at the time, I knew a lot of the girls that I was playing, because as you guys well know, Southwest Missouri has just a super strong, rich tradition of having pretty good girls basketball. And so I was playing with a lot of the girls, or had played with a lot of the girls that I was competing against in high school. Some that I remember just like off the top of my head, or like Hannah Cook, Ondi Haney from West Plains, several of them that I had become good friends with that were really, really great players that I always looked forward to the matchup. And I played Hannah in college too, so that kind of continued afterwards. But the team that I remember always getting up for was, as you probably know, Guy, Bolivar. I feel like that's been a rivalry between Marshfield and Bolivar for years. And so there were always really, really, they were gritty, they were tough. It was always a really good matchup. And I feel like we always found ourselves in the district championship game together or the conference championship game together. And so the girls at the time, I think there was Peyton Peavy was on the team. There were several others that I just remember dreading playing every single time. So, but it was always a good matchup. It was a fun rivalry. And what's odd is it almost like felt like in high school, like a college type rivalry. Like things would always go sideways. It was always rough, physical. So I looked forward to those games a lot.
Take us back and tell us a little bit about the players that you played with, and maybe even as a freshman, maybe someone that maybe took you under their wing as an underclassman. Who are some of those players that stand out that you were teammates with?
Yeah, my freshman year, I remember we were stacked with we had a pretty veteran roster. So there was like on the team, Amanda Gorley was playing, the Bruton twins were on the team at the time. Shelby Porter was on the team. So that was kind of like my senior class, my freshman year. And they were super experienced, very good players. And so it was nice to be able to learn from them my freshman year. But going all the way to my senior year, when we went to state and all that, my people were Allie Van Diglin, McKenna Smith, Samantha French, Peyton Greenlee. Several of those girls went on to play in college, and it was just a fun group, really talented group, and obviously we were pretty successful making it to state that year. So we jived well, had good chemistry, and so loved playing with all of them.
As you look back, are there games from your high school career that stand out that you'd like to go back and play again? Maybe a game that got away from you that you should have won, or maybe a game where you scored your 1,500th point, or maybe it was that last game. I'd like to go play that last game again, not realizing it was my last high school basketball game. Are there games like that that stand out?
Yeah, definitely. I think definitely one that I want to get back would be, it was either my sophomore year or my junior year districts. We were playing Bolivar at home. And I did not play well. I think it was my junior year because I think I had already committed to Kansas at that point. So yeah, I still, that game keeps me up at night. So I would love to go back and replay that one because obviously we didn't win. And then another one that I would definitely go back and play was my senior year against Incarnate Word. We got roasted at state against Incarnate Word, but I was playing against Nafisa Collier, who I had gotten to know through playing AAU basketball. And there was another, their point guard went and played at Iowa State. So I played against her in college at Kansas. And so I wish that I would have just had a different perspective on the game. But they were stacked. They were so good. And so it'd be fun to go back and play them again.
Yeah, the Bolivar game at Marshfield, I was actually in attendance.
Okay.
Yeah, we used to, when I was with ESPN, we did a high school basketball scoreboard show, and I was actually in attendance at that game. And then another Bolivar Marshfield game that I remember that you may have been at, you weren't in high school yet, was in 2008, where the district championship was at Bolivar. That was Casey Garrison's senior year.
I was about to say, was that the Casey Garrison era? I don't know if I went to that game or not. But I remember there was one game specifically I went. It was a Bolivar Marshfield game, and it had the same rivalry feeling that I felt whenever I was playing. So,
well, that game at Bolivar, it was stacked house. There was overflow. They had to go into the auditorium and watch it on the big screen.
That's amazing. Yeah, because there was also on Marshfield there was Lacey. I think it was Lacey Bosch, maybe, and then her and Casey went and played at Missouri State together. That was just a super talented group of girls.
It was indeed. It was indeed. So you make the decision. You talked about the commitment to go to Kansas as a junior, and Kent's got some questions there with regards to your college career. But what went into that decision, and why Kansas? And then obviously you transferred to Mizzou later on. But what was it about Kansas that drew you?
Yeah, I loved the culture of Kansas. I'm a big history buff, and so they've got the history, they've got the tradition. It was, I guess, right after I left, they had purchased the original rules of basketball. Just it's something that you have to experience to be able to go and play in your home court, be in Allen Fieldhouse. It's pretty magical. That's the best way that I can describe it. Secondarily to that, I was going to be close to home. I was going to be playing in the Big 12, which was really important to me because, when looking at playing in conferences, all of my away games were also pretty close to home because you got like Oklahoma State, K-State. And so I wanted to give my family the accessibility to come watch a lot of my games. So that was awesome. And then also I just felt like I fit really, really well into their system. The head coach, Bonnie Hendrickson at the time, she had a history of producing really, really good point guards, and put them in positions to be successful. And I felt like I fit that system really well. And so that's why I ultimately decided to go there. Unfortunately, Coach Bonnie got fired after my freshman year. And then my sophomore year, stuck it out at Kansas. I wanted to give it a shot because I loved the university. I love what they were about, and it just didn't work for me anymore. And so I was friends with a lot of the girls on the Mizzou team because they were a lot of Missouri girls. And so I decided to make the transition back home, and play at Mizzou, which was a really special experience.
I know Kent's got a couple of questions here. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask you about the transition from high school to college, but I kind of already know how that went just with your history of in high school. You were 4-time All-State, but you weren't daunted at all because you stepped right into the Big 12 and was on the conference all-freshman team. What enabled you to make that smooth of a transition?
Yeah, I think quite honestly, it was the system that I was in. Coach Bonnie, our head coach, did a fantastic job of really walking me through, from start to finish, what the experience was going to be like as a freshman. I can actually remember, I don't know if anybody tells you this, but I feel like most freshmen, when you're playing at a high level in college, have the experience of the moment where the game slows down for you, where you don't feel like you're running around on the floor like a chicken with your head cut off, going 1,000 miles an hour. I remember that game happening against Cal my freshman year, or I remember that happening against Cal my freshman year. And so I think Coach Bonnie just did an unbelievable job of catering to my strengths, putting me in a system that I was really effective in. And then also I was just surrounded by really good players. Chelsea Gardner was our center. She ended up getting drafted by the Indiana Fever. There were a couple others, Natalie Knight, Asia Boyd, that were just very talented people, that allowed me to succeed because my game, how it's always been, maybe not so much in high school, but I feel like how my game is wired is, I don't like to be the star of the show. My job as a point guard is to make other people look good. And so whenever I'm surrounded by talent, I think it makes me look better on paper, probably better than what I should. So I was just surrounded by really good people, really good players, and a coach that I felt like catered to my strengths. And so I think that helped with the transition some.
Well, and also I believe I can say that you started every game in college. Is that your memory?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
that says a lot about talent. It says about effort, but it also says a lot about conditioning. Okay, you smile. I'd like for you to elaborate on that a little bit.
Like you're talking about conditioning from like a like fitness standpoint?
Yes, that allows you to go over 100 games without missing.
Yeah, so I do want to give a lot of credit to the strength and conditioning coaches that I was surrounded by. Andrea Hootie, I don't know if that name rings a bell for you, but she's actually right now she's UConn's women's basketball strength and conditioning coach. She was at Kansas at the time, working with men's and women's basketball, and she's unbelievable. She's probably the best in the business. From just an injury management, load management standpoint. I was, again, very, very blessed to be playing at a high level in college. And there's just a lot of science behind the scenes that, when you have the funds, the university is willing to invest in, to make sure your load management is in a good place, and training the right way. And so I definitely think that played a role in it for me. And then obviously, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I always tried to, for myself, never get tired whenever I was hurt. Always, best friends with the athletic trainer, because I definitely didn't want to miss any minutes on the floor. That's for sure.
That's great, and that has to be inspirational for the girls coming up behind you. What one piece of advice that you would give first to a high school girl who wants to play in college, at whatever level in college, but it's so different playing in college than high school. What's the one thing you would advise that girl?
One piece of advice is I feel like I would have a lot, Kent. But I will say that the one piece of advice that I wish I could go back and tell myself, that I'm also actively telling my younger sister, Quinn, who's going to be a senior this year at Marshfield, is just, I feel like sometimes we can make um, college basketball or playing Division I basketball kind of like we think it will be the pinnacle of our existence when we're in high school. And after having been there and done that, it gives you different perspective. That it's not the end all be all. After you're done playing college basketball, you get to go be, a wife and a mom and have your own career. And so a lot of times these high school games feel like they're do or die, or, you lose and it feels like your world's falling apart. And really it's just, it's at the end of the day, it's a game. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to feel like there's a lot of pressure on you that you can't make a mistake. It all plays out how it's supposed to. And so just, be lighthearted about it, enjoy the process, and then whatever the end goal is, whether that's playing Division I basketball at Mizzou, playing in an NCAA tournament, or whether that's, just going to college to study and become a doctor, lawyer, whatever that is, it's all success at the end of the day. So that's what I would tell someone younger than me.
Which I think that's great. I think that's great advice. And you've already mentioned something that, you've had the opportunity to play against some of the very best in the game.
Yeah.
Going up against Nafisha Collier, the MVP of the WNBA All-Star game this year. She'll probably be the MVP for this season.
Yeah.
But you also had a future WNBA player there at MU that has a lot more people this year know who she is than just a year ago. Like to hear some of your memories of playing 2 years with Sophie Cunningham.
Yeah, I technically I was with her for 3 years because she was still on the team whenever I had redshirted. What I will say about Sophie is, everybody now is getting to know her on a national level. And I've seen a couple of tweets and videos of like, wouldn't you just love to have this girl on your team with you? And I can totally confirm that that is accurate. Like playing with Sophie was one of the greatest joys of truly my whole basketball career. She brought a level of intensity and grittiness and feistiness that I had never played with before. She is someone who works harder than anybody that I had ever played with, including myself, and I thought I was a hard worker. But at the same time, with her being so talented, with her bringing, just this feistiness to the court that was fun to play with, off the court, she is an incredible human being. Like I mean that with my whole heart. Like she is not some star out there that's got a big ego. She is a homegrown girl from Columbia, Missouri that likes to be out on the farm and is just super down to earth and is just a good human being. And so I learned a lot from Sophie. And I'm happy now that she's getting the national attention that she deserves because she's an incredible player and an incredible person too.
Well, that's terrific insight because, this is probably her best year in the WNBA. And I saw an interview that she had last year when she was still in Phoenix. And she even alluded to that she would really love to play with Caitlin Clark and talked about that. And then, of course, it became reality, which it's really fun to watch.
Yeah, no, I've kept up with it the whole year. I've kept up with her career from, just watching And it's been really, really fun to see her. Let's just be honest. Sophie thrives in the limelight. She always has. She has at Mizzou. She is at Indiana. And so I think she's in the right place now, and she's doing awesome.
That's great.
Again, we're visiting with 2014 graduate of Marshfield High School, Lauren Aldrich. And Lauren, for the folks watching, tell us a little bit about what you're doing now, what you've done since college, your family, and where you reside.
Yeah, so I am now in Northwest Arkansas, living here. I've been married for 4 years now, and he's a much cooler person than I am. Probably would be more fun to interview than me, because he was a former professional tennis player, and had a really, really great career. But we've been married now for 4 years. We have a 2.5-year-old little girl, and then we just had our son, Cal, and he's 4 weeks old at this point, so you can probably hear him in the background. But I am, right now, I'm a deputy prosecuting attorney in Bentonville, Arkansas. And so I tell everybody I think it's the best job in the world. Super fun. I feel like I'm living out my dream, getting to be a prosecutor. So haven't touched a basketball in a while, but maybe soon I'll get back out there for a few pickup games.
Well, we just had the pleasure of interviewing Michaela Burgess, who you may be familiar with, who played at
Yeah.
West City, and she was wanting everybody to know that she can still beat her brother in one-on-one.
There you go. That's important. That's important stuff. My brother and I got banned from playing one-on-one against each other. So maybe we're old enough now we can resume.
You bet. Well, Lauren, it's been a pleasure to catch up with you. Got to see you play many minutes. Always enjoyed watching you play at the high school and collegiate level. But I just want to say thank you for coming on here. You're a member of the Missouri Milestones, the podcast. There's no club dues. There's no secret handshakes. There's no secret knocks on the door. You've done it by virtue of what you've accomplished, and it's been a tremendous career. And I look forward to maybe visiting again.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for chatting with me all. I really enjoyed it.
And I know now to not even speed going through Northwest Arkansas.
Don't do it.
All right. Hey, you're watching Missouri Milestones, the podcast here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage, and presented by Chevrolet, Great Southern Bank, Central Bank of Missouri, and Doak Propane. We'll be back after this.
There's a reason Chevy is called the heartbeat of America. The heartbeat's strong, steady, unwavering. Like the people who keep this country moving. Doing what they do best. Helping neighbors, pitching in, getting it done. For them, only America's most dependable truck will do. And every Chevy truck, like every Chevy driver, dependability comes standard.
The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Hey, welcome back to High School Game Day here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. And it's sponsored by Great Southern Bank. Great Southern Bank with more than 100 locations in 6 states. Great Southern Bank that cares as much about your money as you do. Member FDIC. Well, we continue our trips around the state of Missouri. We go to Maryville High School. We welcome in Spoof Hounds head football coach Matt Webb. Coach Webb, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Guy.
And Coach, we have a new rule on the show that to become a friend of the show, you have to make at least 3 appearances. Well, you've done it, so you are officially now a friend of the show, and we appreciate you your loyalty all these many years.
Well, how about that? It's always nice to have more friends and foes, especially in the world of athletics. So I'll take as many friends as I can get this time of year, especially.
Coach, 9-5 a year ago, made a great run. 2 of those losses were to the same team. Tell us a little bit about what you're having to replace because of graduation, and maybe who are some of those folks stepping into those roles.
Yeah, you look at our season last year, and like you mentioned, 9-5. We started off our season with a loss to Blair Oaks, and we finished in the state semifinals with a loss to Blair Oaks. The eventual Class 3 state champion, and then the other one of our other losses was the Class 4 Lutheran North. And then you look at a Class 5 loss to St. Pius on our schedule, and then a Class 4 loss to Savannah, who's certainly got their program, headed in the right direction, and Anthony Hayes has done a great job with that program and our rivals. So 5 losses, and certainly not. In our opinion, no loss is a good loss, but certainly to quality opponents. But I really feel like our schedule, as we'll talk about this year's schedule, but year in and year out, I think we try and put competitive teams on our schedule to prepare us for playoff runs, and finishing with state semifinal loss, to Blair Oaks, in the snow down there in Wardsville. You look at in the fourth quarter, it's tied 14-14, and two good teams battling it out, and then a really great football game, and they made the plays to win it in the end, and we did not, and they certainly deserve all the credit. So tough way to end the season, but at the same time, a lot of things to look forward to from last year going into this year.
What what are the numbers like? What did you lose to graduation, and how many roles that you're going to have to fill coming into this season?
Yeah, every year we coaches talk about restocking and having depth and those things. I think one of the things we pride ourselves on is a saying, that says tradition never graduates. And when you have that kind of mindset that we're going to play a lot of depth, and we get a guys a lot of pivotal roles. You don't, when you lose some seniors due to attrition, and that's the thing that naturally happens. You've got some good depth that has experience. So I think on defense, we lose. Some key players. We had some our defensive backs. Cole Zarbano was a 3-year starter for us at safety. Made a lot of plays. Gus McCullough is going to continue on, and obviously when you lose a player of his ability that the plays he made a linebacker, and he'll be a Northwest Bearcat, and that level of player is hard to replace, and certainly made a lot of key plays. And then our defensive ends, we lose both of those in Major Scarborough and Lucas Viertaler. But we've got some guys on that side of the ball that we feel are have had some great reps and some good depth roles. That'll be their senior times to make plays. Guys like Xander Brown at defensive end, guys like Ben Jaster in the defensive backfield, and guys that'll continue to be seniors in the backfield, in the defensive backfield, like um, key guys that got a lot of, depth and playing time as juniors. It'll be Brett Long at corner. On the offensive side, our quarterback's returning in Jackson Dredge. Jackson was kind of thrust into that role due to injury last year as a sophomore. He'll be a junior this year, and certainly he's not a guy that you feel like, oh, it's going to be his first time starting. Jackson played half the season last year for us, and really, made some great plays. He's an excellent athlete. Expect big things out of him. A player seems like he's been here for a long time, but plays on both sides of the ball. Sadler View, he'll be a senior. He's a linebacker and a running back for us. Our fullback and our wing T stuff is Luke Allen. Luke will be a junior for us, really good football player. And then it all starts and ends up front. We've got some great returning offensive linemen that are going to really pave the road and do some great things for us this year.
Coach, what's the summer been like? The summer workouts, obviously, over the past 2 decades, one of the winningest programs in the state of Missouri. You mentioned tradition doesn't graduate, so your summers have had to been good, as far as attendance and things like that. What have they been like up to this point?
Yeah, it's rinse and repeat is what we talk about up here. It's the time of year when this seasons are I think it's always a joke when it's a 365-day a year program when you do it the right way. And we got through the winter program, we got through our spring program, kind of what we've done in the past, and then once Memorial Day hits, it's summer and football time, and our kids know what that's like. We start the Tuesday after Memorial Day with our summer weight program, and our kids are fully invested in that. every coach says how important it is, but again, we talk about tradition, and that's been done here a long time, and the kids buy into it, and so they're here in the morning times working out. We go to team camp here at Northwest Missouri State, and have some great competition there in June, and then we have the dead weeks, and I think one of the things that we try and really emphasize to our kids is, hey, when it's time to work, let's get our work in. But at the same time, we want those dead weeks. I think it's important for kids to get away and go on family vacations, go on fishing trips, get a summer job, do the things that get you away from football, because when August 11th hits, we ask 100% commitment, and it's hard to do that at a 365 day a year level, without it being mundane and worn down and not that excitement of high school football. This time of year, from a high school football coach, it's the best time of the year. You love it. You live for it. You're done with summer weights. You're done with vacations, and it's okay. Let's get back into our routine of putting on the pads and going to special teams practices, learning our schemes, getting polished up. Jamborees around the corner, and week one will be here before you know it. So we've had a great summer. I'm really excited to get next week started.
Yeah, Monday it kicks off for real, on August 11th. Then you got the Jamboree on the 22nd. Where is your Jamboree?
We'll be jamboreeing at Raytown South this year, against the same teams, against William Christman, Raytown South, and Kansas City Center. Done that for the last few years. Some really good, a little bit bigger programs than us, but gets us into a good jamboree and get out of there and move on to week one.
In week one, obviously you got Blair Oaks, and your schedule's not complete on the mission site yet, but you're at Lincoln College Prep, and you got Lutheran North on your schedule again. Between now and the 22nd, the Jamborees, what are your goals for your team outside of staying healthy? Obviously, staying healthy is number one, but what are some things you're looking to accomplish there in that first 11 days?
Well, we want to get ourselves, really kind of back into the routine, get us, into the idea of hitting the pads. The kids know our schemes through our summer program. It's not a lot of, new schemes to our kids. It's really taking and adjusting it and making sure that we are as healthy as we can possibly be. A lot of that obviously deals with how we deal with nutrition. It's going to be hot. Today's day and age, you deal with temperatures and wet bulb and hydration, and you want to be healthy. You want to be healthy for Jamboree, and you want to be healthy going into the season. We're traditionally playing long seasons, like I said, getting in playoff runs, and you want your best 11. We've got great depth, we've got great numbers. We're right around somewhere between 65 and 70 for a Class 3 program, and our school enrollment size of just over 400. So we want to make sure the kids get healthy and happy, and be are in great mindsets, open up season. So our goals are to start working on Blair Oaks, start working on Jamboree, getting our base plays down, getting that team camaraderie close knit. It's obviously the kids have a lot of, with schools starting back, and the traditions they like to do around here, just like at every school, whether that's painting your parking spot or going to registration. The seniors get to be seniors, and then here come the freshmen. It's a whole new different world, and you're lucky that they can find their locker on the first day of school, and not get lost in a hallway, or feel stupid on that first practice, and you've accomplished something one. So, freshmen are freshmen, but at the same time, they're spoof hounds, and we're excited to get them here. So really, it's just kind of that rinse and repeat mode of setting goals to go 1-0 every week.
Again, we're visiting with Maryville Spoof Hounds head coach, head football coach Matt Webb. Coaches, you're heading into this season. What you talk a little bit about your conference. Some folks, that are viewing may not know what conference you're in, who the members are, and conferences have just completely changed over the past 4 or 5 years. Handicap your conference a little bit.
Yeah, that's we're going through some transition. We're in the Midland Empire Conference, and schools are predominantly north of Highway 36, and C is
There you go.
the St. Pius out of Kansas City has been in the MEC years, and they've decided to leave our conference last year with some classification with what they're doing up to Class 5 with football. So we'll be adding, not this year, but we'll be adding a conference school in 2026, which will be Excelsior Springs will be officially joining our conference. They're not in it this year, but they will be in at 26. So that's caused us all to go find a game this year on the football schedule. So our schedule starts, the MEC. You look at, like I said, Maryville's in it. There's two St. Joe's schools, the football playing schools in the MEC in Benton and Lafayette. And then you have Cameron, Chillicothe, and Savannah. Next year, Excelsior will be joining it. So when you look at the class three schools are traditionally us, Chillicothe, and Cameron. Usually somewhere Benton is sometimes in that class three range or class four. Lafayette's kind of the same, but depending on their enrollment numbers, and then Savannah will be class four, like I said. A really good conference. The thing I like about it is it gives you a wide variety of coaches, really good coaches. There's teams that run the flex zone, there's teams that run the spread, there's teams that run power, pro eye sets, and then our non-conference schedule this year. Like I said, we open up with Blair Oaks, we play at Pleasant Hill, and then we play at Lincoln College Prep, and then later on Lutheran North. So four schools, four opponents that are non-con, and then four schools that are, or five schools that are our conference opponents.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, as always, I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time, and we look forward to visiting throughout the year. On the nights where you guys win, we'll get you on the show, our live high school football scoreboard show that airs every Friday night from 9:30 to 11. And it's
Did I lose you, Guy?
No, I'm here. You're here. I can hear you, Coach. All right, Coach, you're still with me. If you can hear me,
Guy, I'm afraid I lost you.
Okay. Well, hey, we're going to take a commercial. And we'll be right back.
Leaders know there's no guide to greatness. When everyone else says something can't be done, they know it only hasn't been done yet. True leaders weather the fiercest storms and look deep within themselves to rise above and help others find their way forward. At Great Southern Bank, we're proud to partner with visionaries that help raise the tide for all of us. And when you're ready to bring your vision to life, we'll be right behind you with award-winning support.
The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to High School Game Day here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Certainly glad you've tuned in today. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. Well, we've been to Maryville, we've been to Marshfield, we've been to Harrisonville, we've been to Mid-Buchanan. Now we're at Glendale High School, and we're visiting with Glendale head football coach Frank Tristan. Coach Tristan, thanks for your time today.
Hey, you bet. Thanks for having me.
Coach, first off, how's the summer gone? Good numbers. What have you guys been able to do over the summer?
Yeah, it's been really good. We have had, it's hard to get every kid there during the summer just because everybody's doing different stuff. But we've had, a good camp in June. And then we did the 7-on-7 little circuit. And now we're heading back, just finishing with team camp. And it's really been good. It's been a busy summer, but I feel like it's been very productive, which is good.
Good numbers?
Yeah, we've been solid. I've seen 93 is what we've got, and that's 9 through 12. Kind of our goal in year 2 here was to be over 90 consistently. So we just need to be there and go from there.
Outstanding. Coach, as you look at going into this season, what did you have to replace, just by virtue of attrition, people graduate, things like that? Maybe who are some of those folks that you're kind of expecting maybe to turn the corner this year and fill some of those roles?
Yeah, so we only had 6 seniors last year. However, they were all contributing in a large part. So having to replace, especially Jalen Lockett, who was, our safety and our running back, that's a huge, we're going to have 3 people replace him. So, it'll be difficult to do that, especially with the lines. But, one kid that's going to be replacing Jalen would be Samari Pickett, who last year got hurt in week 3, before we even played week 3, got hurt in practice, was out for the season. And Samari's, a really good football player. He'll play linebacker and running back for us. Another one was Cam Major, who is, a track guy, but is going to have a real big football year this year. So those 2 guys will replace some of those senior needs that we've lost. And then obviously the return of Cash Newberry at quarterback as a senior is going to be huge for us. And then we've got a good group of seniors. We got 15 seniors this year that will really take on a leadership role for our program. And then, they're good football players too.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, it gets underway for real on Monday, August the 11th, and you've got your Jamboree on the 22nd. And that 11 days are in between. What are maybe some of your goals outside of obviously staying healthy? But what are some things you're going to try to accomplish in that time from the start on Monday until you get into the Jamboree on the 22nd?
Yeah, with the ability to see the guys over the summer, the hope is to keep picking up on what we've left off, but really have all of our base stuff down and solid. And then I tell my wife I'm kind of the Walgreens of football coaching. I want our kids to be happy and healthy, and so you're exactly right. We want them to be healthy. But the big part of that is in this next 2 weeks or that 11 days is trying to get every kid to see what's my role in the team, where do I fit in, how do I contribute. Matter of fact, right before I'm talking to you, I had a meeting with our coaches about that very thing. Like, we want to build a program, which means we need to retain kids. And if a kid doesn't feel valued or important, dude, I'll just go ahead and stay home. So that's really our important job, is to find out, hey, what kids can play on Friday night, who can't, and then what's their role going to be? How do we keep them here? And how do we keep them engaged? And how do they meet our expectations for them?
Coach, tell us, the viewers, a little bit about your coaching staff. Is it very similar to last year? Have you added anyone? Have you added staff members?
Yeah, we're still at 9 coaches, and we've retained everybody. The only change for us is Coach Rehagen went to Rogersville with Joel Wells. So the band is back together. Joel Wells, Rich Rehagen, and Aaron Wells all at Rogersville. So that's cool for them. So what we did is elevated Scott Offer to our defensive coordinator. And then we were able to bring in an O-line coach, Brett Williams, who, if you're a big Chiefs fan, you might remember he played for the Chiefs and was an All-American for Bobby Bowden. And so we actually had a little conversation. Back in the day, he was kind of the Jackson Cantwell of that time. He was on Sports Illustrated and or College Football America, those publications. So it's fun. And he's been great with the guys. And so we're really thankful with our coaching staff. We really have 9 guys that are committed to loving the players and build connections, and they love it. They're doing it because they love it.
With regards to your schedule, any changes? I know games that were away are now at home from a year ago, but have you added anyone, or is it, you've got a pretty full conference?
Yeah. We're the same schedule, except like you said, we flip the home and away, but the COC is so difficult. But if you're going to play the COC schedule, I think the way we have it sets up for us as best as it can. There's no easy way. It's kind of the, pick your poison, but it's going to be difficult. We start off with Neosho, and they drummed us last year. Man, Brandon does such a good job over there. He's got it rolling. So, we'll have everything prepared for him. But so it's not like we start off with a cupcake. It's not going to be easy.
Well, you showed some improvement last year, just throughout the season. You get to you lose that opening game with Willard, then you come back and you get them in the district. So there was that market improvement over the season a year ago. What do you have planned now between this is actually airing on Friday? You're kicking it off Monday. What does Monday look like for you? When do you start? When do meetings start? When do practices start?
Yeah. Well, thanks. We did, to your point, we had some growth, and I was very proud of that. And so one of the things we're trying to get our guys to do on Monday when we start is, hey, pick up with the same enthusiasm we left off with. We did. We ended the season, obviously if you don't win your last game, it's kind of a letdown, but we ended our season on a high note. And so we were playing our best football. Now, like I tell the players, where we're at right now compared to where we were at last year at this time is way ahead. And so we just got to keep the enthusiasm. A lot of it is enthusiasm that we lacked last year. And a little bit of that was just because the unknown of a new coach and stuff. But going with that, for us, on Monday, we go in the evenings because we play ball in the evening. So that's what we're going to do. And so they're going to meet. We'll have a lot of meetings. So we meet and lift, and then we don't get on the practice field until about 8 o'clock at night. And then we'll practice for an hour and a half. Our goal is to practice fast, and we play football. So we'll play 11-on-11 football more than a lot of other teams probably, just because I think the best way to learn football is to play football. It's hard to simulate a drill. So yeah, throughout the summer, that's why we love those camps. The opportunity to play football is just a blessing. So that's what our day will look like. And we'll try to do that all first week of camp, and help them to get their eyes right. So if their eyes are right, they'll be better football players.
Outstanding, Coach. I greatly appreciate your time today. Congratulations on entering year 2. I know everybody, it's exciting. It's exciting for me as a fan. As I start putting things together and shows together, and I'm president of the Springfield Area Quarterback Club, which you are a member. And when I say member, there's no dues, there's no secret handshakes. You just got to show up and eat lunch and talk football. But we always appreciate when you have the opportunity to come in, and those schedules be going out this week as well. But Coach, again, hey, thanks so much for your time today. And I know we'll get to catch up throughout the season, and go out and get a win at Neosho, and we'll get you on the live scoreboard show that night.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guy. I appreciate what you do for local sports.
You bet. Thank you. Hey, you're watching High School Game Day here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow.
There's a reason Chevy is called the heartbeat of America. The heartbeat's strong, steady, unwavering. Like the people who keep this country moving, doing what they do best. Helping neighbors, pitching in, getting it done. For them, only America's most dependable truck will do. And every Chevy truck, like every Chevy driver, dependability comes standard.
The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome back here to High School Game Day on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And as always, brought to you by the Missouri State Highway Patrol, who reminds us, take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Also presented by the Bank of Billings, established in 1889, the oldest bank in Christian County. And Doak Propane, for all your propane needs, see the folks at Doak. We go north of our studio here to Harrisonville High School, and we welcome in head football coach Brent Maxwell. Coach Maxwell, thank you so much for your time today.
No, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And Coach, 6-5 a season ago. Talk a little bit about what you're going to have to replace due to graduation. We're right around the corner from fall sports beginning. They begin on Monday as far as practice. Talk about some of those young men that you're going to have to replace just because of graduation, and maybe some of those folks are going to step into those roles.
Sure. We lost a big senior class last year. I think we had 23-24. Which recently has been, pretty big for us. We're usually around 15, 16. So we definitely have some holes to fill. One of them obviously was a running back, Nate Reynolds. He had started all 4 years for us. Actually ended up getting hurt last year, week 2 versus Bolivar. Sustained a knee or a season-ending knee injury. But we've got some guys that have been working extremely hard. We are excited that, we've on our offensive line, we've got 3 guys returning that have some experience, one at each of the tackle positions and then one at our center positions. So, we found 2 other guys, I think, that, again, it's going to be here before we know it. We got a lot of work to do, but, they've kind of bought in and accepted the role of stepping into those guard positions. And, kind of excited to see how they can develop, over the course of the year. Excited that we do have our quarterback returning this year. He grew tremendously last year. We obviously are a run-oriented offense. He did a great job throwing the ball when we needed him to, but he kind of stepped up whenever Nate ended up going down. He ended up rushing for over 1,000 yards himself. So that was huge for us last year. Again, we didn't end the season as well as we had hoped. But that's just kind of how it goes. Somebody goes down and somebody's got to step in and fill that role. And we had several guys, attempt to do that. And we just once we kind of got things figured out and rolling, the season kind of come to an abrupt end there. But we're excited to build upon that again this year. Defensively, we've got 6 returners back, most with at least 1, if not 2 years experience. Tyson White Smith, actually one of our better linebackers. He's actually going to be a 4-year starter this year as a senior. So he's put on some good weight this year and increased his speed. So we're looking forward to seeing what he can do. But our front 3 ought to be pretty decent, I think. We're still not overly big per se, especially for a Class 4 school, but probably one of the bigger front 3s we've had over the past 4, 5, 6 years though. So with Aiden Pickering and Bryson Cecil and Trenton Hyder and Keller Johnson and the likes, we should have some depth at that one position. That will hopefully kind of keep some offensive linemen off of Tyson in that linebacking course. So,
Coach, any changes to your schedule from last year to this? I know Bolivar was on your schedule last year. This year you come to Bolivar, and you also go to Cassville, which is quite a trip as well.
That'll be a haul. Now, essentially, it's a mirror schedule. It's just flip the home and away. This will be the second year of a 2-year rotation. So, we look forward. We'll open up the season with Richmond at home. Solid Class 3 program, and they kind of gave us everything we wanted last year, I felt like, in week 1. And so we're really excited to have them come down. Glad that game's at home this year, again, with so many new faces in certain positions. But and then we'll make that trek down to Bolivar. We've been there a few times and had some really, really good games. So looking forward to that one. We're excited to go to Cassville. It is a long trip, and we're not. That's no strange trip for us necessarily. We used to travel down to Cassville to Monette, the likes of that. We've been to Rogers, Arkansas. We've been to St. Louis. I mean, so we enjoy taking those longer trips. Don't want to do that every week, obviously, but once every couple of years, it's kind of fun just to get away and see new schools, see new places, new stadiums and things. They were good last year. And I expect them to be just as good, if not better, this year. So I fully expect to be in for a battle again this year with them.
Yeah. And Bolivar, that it's down here. It's still at Southwest Baptist University on their facility. Their new head coach, Coach Robert Clardy, had spent 18 years at Southwest Baptist as a player and a head coach. He makes that move over. He's got some kids, coming through school and things like that. But are you aware yet of what your jamboree is going to be like? Where's the jamboree at? Who's participating?
Yeah, we're going to go to Smith Cotton High School in Sedalia, Missouri, for our jamboree. We went there last year, I guess, for the first time. They're a growing Class 5, maybe almost a Class 6 school population-wise, but so quite a bit bigger than we are. Coach Gray's been there a couple of years now and has really taken that program in the right direction, I believe. So we look forward to that challenge. With us then is School of the Osage, a really good Class 3 program. They kind of made a run there last year, probably fell just short of what they were hoping. I know they had some pretty high expectations going into the beginning of last year, and rightfully so. They were talented at many, many positions. So we're looking forward to going back again. We feel like that's a pretty good test. Put the classifications aside, just 2 solid quality football programs that hopefully will give us an idea. Hopefully we can have some success, but also, to be honest, hopefully we learn a few things about us that we need to get better at. I'd rather learn it in a jamboree than, find out week 1 or week 2. Man, I wish we would have known that a couple weeks ago type things. So looking forward to going and competing against both of those schools.
We kicks off for real here on Monday, the 11th. First day of fall practices. Between that and the 22nd, where your jamboree is, what are some goals that you have? Obviously, staying healthy would be one, but you trying to bring some kids up, help them grow. What are your goals there going into that first couple of weeks of the season?
Sure. Being healthy, obviously, yes, is number one. Our numbers are down a little bit this year for one reason or another. So we typically have tried to be, 2 platoon as much as possible in the past. They still learn both sides of the position, both sides of the ball, but especially early in the season when it's so hot, we just felt like it kind of put us maybe in an advantage if they only had to learn and play one side of the ball and they could step off for a quick break. But this year we just don't have that luxury, and our kids have embraced that. Though we've had a really good summer with conditioning and strength training, and I still don't know that they quite understand what it's going to take, but they've kind of stepped out of their comfort zone, I think, and pushed themselves a little harder than maybe they even have in the past, and I felt like it's been pretty good. So that piece of it's exciting, but that'll be again just progress, but just looking for growth more than anything. I think obviously week 1 through 8, 1 through 9 essentially is preseason. I mean, they're all important. You want to win that conference or be in the conference race or win a conference championship, but ultimately when you get to week 10 is when it kind of matters. So we're looking, especially from some of our younger kids, we will have a couple sophomores that'll step into some positions. Some, that we'll rely on heavily, and others maybe not quite so much, but still play a very pivotal role if we're going to be successful. So just looking for them to be coachable, give great effort, and just hopefully we can see that growth over the next couple weeks going into week 1, and then really establishing that baseline, and then, hopefully continuing to grow throughout the course of the season.
Again, we're visiting with Harrisonville Wildcats head football coach Brent Maxwell. Coach, just a little bit about your conference, kind of handicap that. A lot of folks throughout the state are not familiar what conference you're in and who are the members.
We're in the MRVC West. It is split into two divisions. The East Division is more your Class 1 through Class 3 schools. The West is more Class 3 through Class 5, I guess. I think Warrensburg maybe, they may be, depends on what happens this year with the classifications whenever Michigan comes out, but they've been a large Class 4, borderline Class 5. But we've got Warrensburg, we've got Clinton, we've got Odessa, which is perennially strong. They got a new coach coming in this year. They're super excited about, I think. Oak Grove, again, traditionally strong. Ryan Schartz does a great job there. Center High School is another member of that. So it is definitely a very competitive conference. And obviously I'd be remiss and probably shunned if I didn't at least mention Pleasant Hill. They're just down the road from us, and gosh, I can't say enough about what Coach Hamilton's done there. He's really turned, and they've always been a strong program, but he's really got things going in the right direction. We did a little 7-on-7 with them earlier this summer, and I think he said they have close to 110, 115 kids out this year just based on the success they've had over the last 2 or 3 years. So, that's always a game that we have circled on our calendar. Obviously, I don't know that the rivalry is as big as it once used to be back in the olden days. Our kids are friends with a lot of their kids, but when that night comes, the gloves are off, and it's always a really good, hard fought battle. So again, really, really a tough conference. We're glad we're a part of that, and it kind of prepares us for that postseason run.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, I greatly appreciate you being part of High School Game Day today and tell us a little bit about your team. And as the season goes on, I may send you a text when I see that you've won, and because we do a live high school football scoreboard show 9:30 to 11 every Friday night for the entire state. So we get coaches out of St. Louis, Kansas City, Southwest Missouri, Northwest Missouri to be a part of it. But I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time. I know it's a busy time right now as you're getting prepared, but thank you so much for being part of the show.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys and everything you guys do to cover high school sports.
Yeah. Hey, you're watching High School Game Day here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And now a message from Chevrolet.
There's a reason Chevy is called the heartbeat of America. The heartbeat's strong, steady, unwavering. Like the people who keep this country moving. Doing what they do best. Helping neighbors, pitching in, getting it done. For them, only America's most dependable truck will do. And every Chevy truck, like every Chevy driver, dependability comes standard.
The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to High School Game Day here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage, presented by Chevrolet, the Missouri State Highway Patrol, Doak Propane, and the Bank of Billings. We go north once again to Mid-Buchanan High School, home of the Dragons and home of head football coach Aaron Fritz. Coach Fritz, thanks so much for your time today.
Hey, no problem, man. Thanks for having me.
Coach, a tremendous season a year ago, 12-1 on the season. Talk a little bit about what you're having to replace due to graduation, from that class, an outstanding class, I'm sure, and maybe who some of the folks maybe stepping into some of those roles.
Yeah, we had to replace a good group of seniors, and there weren't very many of them. There was only 6, but they all did something important for our team and were very crucial to what we were doing. We're losing probably one of the all-time leading tacklers here, somewhere in that category, in Spencer Cunningham. He started for 3 years and played some as a freshman at linebacker. That's a big loss. Ian Waganka lost him. He led us in rushing the last couple years, running back, did a lot of good things. Just good players that played both sides of the ball. Ian played safety. Spencer played some backup running back, so they were kind of a tandem. Good players. A big loss that people won't notice because the stats don't necessarily show it, but Xander Brown played tight end for us for the last 2 years. Really smart, made us ride a lot. Played O-line before that, so we had that background. It was a big deal for us, but he set the edge really well in our defense and played our outside linebacker. And you can never replace kids and try to get somebody else to do exactly what somebody else did. And we're seeing that right now because we've tried to manipulate what we're doing to fit what kids we have now. Because guys like Xander Brown, you just can't replace with somebody else. So, like I said, 6 good seniors, good kids. Holden Sumner, Gabe Sprague, Will Archer all played O-line, played defense. Holden was an all-state offensive lineman last year. So we're losing good kids. And like I said, you can't replace them. You got to try to plug and play and have the other kids play to their strengths. And we're looking forward to seeing some kids step up this year and seeing what we can do.
What was the summer like? You get pretty good competition over the summer. What did you guys get to do over the summer?
Summer's been good, man. We've got 42 out right now. That's how many helmets we've given out is 42. I was just doing numbers today, and we had 28 kids make it 85% or more of the time, and we went 32 days of weights. So that's a big deal for us. That's a pretty good number. Then if you get in 70s, like 38 of our 42 were here like 70% of the time. So it's good numbers, and the kids show up every day. In June, we do 7-on-7 and lift, and that's it. We don't compete in anything else. We just do that. And then in July, we got together with like St. Joe Central, St. Joe Benton, Polo, West Platte, South Harrison. We get together with a bunch of different teams at different camps and things and do stuff, and it was very productive. And what I liked best is we didn't just go in there and dominate. We had to compete. We saw some really good players, really good teams, and it makes you better when you go out and compete against people in the summer.
Yeah, as you look at, even last year you had a tremendous season, 12-1. Did your schedule at all change going into this year from compared to last year?
So Plattsburgh had been playing 8-man. They ran off to 8-man a couple years ago and kind of left us high and dry in the conference. So we got KIPP in 23. We played them week 9, and then last year we added Centralia, Kansas. But Plattsburgh has to come back, and so we have to put them back on the conference schedule. So we are actually not playing Midway to open the season this year. We slid Plattsburgh into week 1 so we could keep playing Centralia, Kansas, because that's a really good program out there and really good for us to keep playing them. So this year it'll be Plattsburgh week 1, and then next year we'll have to find a new week 1, and Plattsburgh will slide into that week 3 slot where Centralia, Kansas is at right now. But that's the only difference to our schedule this season. We still play Lexington and then obviously the rest of the KCI.
You guys kick it off for real on Monday, the 11th. Between the 11th and the 22nd, what are your goals right there going into? I mean, obviously stay healthy, but your goals kind of going into that jamboree on the 22nd.
But it's funny you said stay healthy because last year we went into week one and we were missing two of our senior players and another guy that was just coming back. It was his second day back. So staying healthy is a big one. We had a stretch of practice last year, a couple days after we talked, where we had three guys go down with non-contact injuries. So it was a bad stretch for us. But um, last year we were older, like from the year before, everybody was back. And I tried to push and get everything in. And I thought that would be smart. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't like it. I didn't like how the kids had a bunch of stuff going on in their brains. And I felt like we were swimming too much. So this year, man, we're taking it slow. We're going 18 teams. I'm still slow and trying to get the down and making some. I want people to do
Yeah. Hey, Coach.
Yeah.
I lost your audio there. I'm not sure what happened there. Can you still hear me? Your audio kind of. I can hear you now, but
I don't know. Sorry, man.
no, that's all right. Can just kind of rephrase that a little bit, or talk a little bit more about that because your audio cut out there for about 10 seconds.
Okay, we're at. You remember what part you want me to go back to?
Well, you were talking about kind of dumb it down a little bit, so to speak, kind of taking it slow.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Go ahead and go.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, we want to keep it concise and keep it short and try to get things in differently. So we're going to shorten up practices this year and try to go faster, even more than we already do. Try to get that little stuff in and just try to get ready because we play week one on Thursday this year. We open up on that Thursday night instead of the Friday like everybody else. So we're a practice shorter. So we've got to get all this stuff in and be confident and do it. So we're going to try to cut back and have less and make sure we're good at the little stuff we want to be good at to get ready for that first game.
Do you feel like going in, and I know that the districts have not come out yet, but do you feel like you're going to be about where you were last year with the same amount of teams?
I mean, it's funny listening to all these rumors of so-and-so's coming down, so-and-so's going up or whatever. So I assume we'll be in the same spot. We're kind of weird over here. We're probably the most Western team up here in Northwest Missouri in our class. So I could see us being thrown south. I could see us being thrown north or east or wherever. Like we're just kind of in our own over here. So it kind of depends on if a West Platte comes to Class 2 or a Cameron comes down to Class 2 and what that does to shake things up. So we'll just go where they tell us to and see what happens.
You know, as I'm looking at your schedule, you got five home games, but that's always good out of 9.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to get one more extra home game. Coming into right now, based on what you know at the end of July with camps and things like that, are you guys relatively healthy here going in to start on Monday?
Yeah. I mean, our older guys are. We got some young guys banged up, some from still in the spring, and then we had a kid have a shoulder injury a couple weeks ago, which just was unfortunate, but it's part of it. But I think by Monday we'll all be there. But I'm hoping by a couple weeks down the road we'll have our full 42 and kind of go out and see what happens with that.
Again, we're visiting with Mid Buchanan and head football coach Aaron Fritz. And Coach, we've got a new rule, and I may have told you this, but in order to be a friend of the show, you have to have made at least 3 appearances. So you are a friend of the show, and we appreciate your loyalty over here over the past couple of years. And got to break some bread with you a few times up there. We'd love to be able to do that again. But Coach, between now and Monday, what are you doing? Are you just resting? Are you kind of getting geared up? Is this your dead week? I'm sure everybody's on a dead week now.
Well, I teach special education, so I get to come back to work early. So I'm at work all this week, Monday through Thursday. So I'm just hanging out at school and getting some stuff done. So when we go back to teacher stuff next week, it won't be as overwhelming for me. So just like everybody else, get to go to work and be at work all the time.
Looking forward to it?
Every day.
Yeah, very good. Well, Coach, as always, I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time. I know it's a busy time of the year and didn't realize you were back at school already. So I do appreciate you being generous with your time. And it was great to catch up with you. And I know we'll do so on Friday Night Live and on our high school football scoreboard show. Hey, you guys get a win. Hey, we'll send you a text and get you on the line, Coach.
Hey, I always appreciate it, man. I look forward to seeing you again. Hopefully we can get together soon and have lunch or something and do that. It's been great, man.
All right, you bet. Coach, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
You're watching the Missouri Sports Network here on MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Back after these words from Great Southern Bank.
Leaders know there's no guide to greatness. When everyone else says something can't be done, they know it only hasn't been done yet. True leaders weather the fiercest storms and look deep within themselves to rise above and help others find their way forward. At Great Southern Bank, we're proud to partner with visionaries that help raise the tide for all of us. And when you're ready to bring your vision to life, we'll be right behind you with award-winning support.
The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Hey, welcome back to High School Game Day here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Certainly glad that you have tuned in. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. This segment brought to you by the Bank of Billings. Bank of Billings established 1889, the oldest bank in Christian County. Also presented by Doak Propane in Polk County. For all your propane needs, see the folks at Doak. We go to Stockton High School now, bringing Stockton Tiger head football coach Luke Rader. Coach Rader, thanks for your time today.
Hey, glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Coach, a tremendous season a year ago. You finished 8-3, at the end of last year. What did you lose off of that team just by virtue of graduation? And who are some of the people, some of the guys that are going to have to step in and fill some roles this year as you go into the 25 season?
Yeah, had a big senior class last year, had 10 seniors and just good people, good football players. Obviously, when you have a good season, that is the case. So we've got a lot of spots to fill, and we've had a lot of competition for most of those positions through this summer. And so we're really hoping that, that's going to pay off by giving us more depth, that we're rotating a lot of different people this summer, trying to figure out what the best combination of all of that is. So hopefully that leads to all those different people getting a lot of reps and then being ready to play on Friday nights, so that regardless of who the starter is week one, everybody knows whether it's, a matchup situation or maybe you get injuries throughout the season. It always pays to have a lot of depth. And so we're hoping that pays off this season.
You talk a little bit about the summer, what you did. What was your summer like? What were the numbers like? Did you participate in camps, 7-on-7? What was it like for the Tigers?
Yeah, we did some 7-on-7 here. We went to Sircoxie one night this summer, and then we hosted a one-day camp here, and we went to Branson for their camp. And so our participation was good overall. I think we've got a lot of kids that are bought in. Our numbers are going to be down a little bit. We've got a really small senior class, and it's just a weird combination. Our senior class, even when they were in junior high, I think there were only 7 or 8 of them. And, one moves away. You have a couple that don't play, things like that. And then our incoming freshman class, same deal, where it's just a really small class and always has been. So those two classes being there together, our numbers will be down a little bit, but the kids that are playing, had pretty good commitment throughout the summer. So that's always encouraging.
Tell us a little bit about your coaches, your assistant coaches. Did you retain a lot of them? Did you bring anybody new in?
So we've been really, really fortunate to put together the staff we have. Jared Hansen was head coach at Miller. He's had head coach experience out in Kansas, and he joined us a few years ago. Brett Burchett he coached close to 20 years up at Cass Midway. His dad, is the head coach at Cass Midway for, I think, since the beginning of time. And he joined us a few years ago also. And, then we've got Gavin Kinney who's from Stockton originally, a lot of ties to the community there, and does a really good job with the kids. Josh Short actually comes over from Sheldon, so we co-op with Sheldon, and they provide a coach, and he drives those kids over. And he's awesome, just extremely hardworking. Chance Edens is a young guy we added a couple years ago, and it's always, I've gotten old enough now where it's nice to have those young guys that have the energy and they can relate to the kids really well. And then junior high wise, Kyle Freeze is another Stockton guy that is from here. And I mean, as far as junior high coaches go, he's going to be hard to beat, the amount of time and effort he puts into it. And then Camden Burns helps him with that too. And Camden's really knowledgeable. Again, for a junior high coach, he's pretty good.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, you got we kick it off for real here on Monday, the 11th. Between the 11th and the 22nd, that 12 days there. What are your goals? As you get into the jamborees there on the 22nd. Obviously, you want to stay healthy during that time. But do you have any other goals that you're trying to meet with this team?
So, one thing that's tough at a small school and probably any size school is trying to figure out in practice who your varsity players are. And like I said, we've got a lot of positions where we've got multiple guys competing. And so going to Branson was really good for us to be able to go against another varsity team and see kind of where some of our guys were at. And then it also showed some areas we need to work on. So we've got a lot of things we need to fix that we saw in Branson that were kind of exposed there. And the biggest thing is the things we can control, not making mental mistakes, not beating yourself, trying to eliminate those, because we open with Marionville. So obviously any mistake you make against a good opponent like that, it's going to show up.
As you mentioned your schedule, you open up at Marionville there on the 29th. With regards to the last year's schedule, has anything changed? Is pretty much the same schedule, just switching home and away?
Yeah, it'll be the same schedule. So we have Sherwood and Central on there for non-conference games. Marionville, Miller, Ash Grove, Sircoxie, and then in the season with Skyline, Diamond, Pierce City to round things out. So, I really think our conference has improved over the years, and a lot of that is some consistency in the coaches. You've got a lot of coaches that are staying longer in those roles and being able to build programs.
Very good. Well, Coach, I'm looking forward to the season, probably not as much as you and the players are, but I always enjoy, posting up here on a Friday night, doing the live scoreboard show. And I also enjoy I'm president of the Springfield Area Quarterback Club, which you were a part of last year on occasion, and we'll get those schedules out here. I'm waiting on Springfield Public Schools athletic director Josh Scott. He's going to get back with me to see if he needs to make any changes there on his schools, and then we'll send those out. And we'll look forward to getting to hook up with you there at the Springfield Area Quarterback Club.
Awesome. Enjoy it.
You're watching the Missouri Sports Network here on High School Game Day on the MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. And now word from Central Bank.
Things are a little tight for Terrence right now. But they won't be for long, because Central Bank makes it easier for customers like Terrence to dream bigger.
More room would be nice.
With mortgage solutions that can open the door to more space.
That's what I'm talking about.
For his growing family.
Growing family?
Honey, guess what?
You got this, buddy.
The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Hey, welcome back to High School Game Day here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. presented by the Bank of Billings, established 1889, the oldest bank in Christian County. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. We go from Harrisonville, Missouri to Marshfield, Missouri. We'll welcome in Marshfield Blue Jays head football coach, Cody Bull. Coach Bull, thanks for your time today.
Thanks, guy. Appreciate it.
How's your summer going?
It's going really well. Awesome attendance. Guys really did a good job. And, like always, it flies. And we got our dead week this week, and everybody's real excited to get back and kind of get rolling.
Talk a little bit about a team you had a year ago, what you're having to replace due to graduation, and maybe who are some of those folks that are going to have to step in and fill some roles.
Yeah. So last year we doubled our win total from the year before. We've been kind of building ourselves back up for the last couple seasons. We've been real young, still kind of in that mode, but we got a bunch of guys who really done an awesome job stepping in and filling some big voids. Carter Pruitt and Carter Thompson, obviously, are two guys that graduated for us on defense that have been staples at linebacker for us, and both had over 150 tackles last year. Very, very good players. We'll have to replace them with a sophomore and a junior, and we'll get into those guys here in a little bit. But Tice Jones, having to replace Tice, a super dynamic guy for us, could score from anywhere on the field, is a really big deal. So those three guys for sure are big holes that we have to fill. And we have some other guys that graduated. Talon Funk graduated, was a really good player for us. We had a couple offensive linemen graduate, and that senior class that we lost was obviously their contributions on the field are going to be missed, but their contributions off the field were even bigger. Really great leaders for us over the last couple of years. So, they're going to be missed in that regard. But guys like Hayden Swanigan, Dakota Gritz, as seniors, are really stepping up and filling that void as far as leadership goes, and really kind of doing a great job of getting our young guys involved and kind of, taking them under their wing. And that's been really fun to see.
It gets underway on Monday for real. August 4th is the first day of fall practice. What are some goals? Obviously, staying healthy would be one, but what are some goals that you look for going into that jamboree on the 22nd?
What we're looking for is guys take the next step. We have a lot of returning starters, offensive line wise. We've got a bunch of guys coming back. Blake Richards is a guy who's all-conference lineman for us last year as a sophomore, is coming back as a junior. He's an extremely good player. Austin Croy is a returning senior on the offensive line, been a 2-year starter for us. Gage Harles is going to move from tight end down to guard. He's a fantastic offensive lineman, was a really good tight end for us last year, but he was another sophomore, just got his driver's license. But he's a 6'3", 260-pound guy that moves really well, jumps really well. He's an extremely good athlete who volunteered himself to move down inside, which always is impressive to me. Addison Ridings is another returning offensive lineman starter. So up front, we feel really good about those guys and where they're coming, and the fact that we're only losing one of them next year is pretty cool. So, and then Colton Ross, Ashton Herrera, Wyatt Yarborough, or some other guys are going to see a lot of time on the offensive line, and all guys that will be returners the next season. So we're really happy with how that group's shaping up for sure.
As you look at your schedule coming up this year, what there may not be any changes, but has your schedule changed this year from last?
It has not changed. The only big deal is, with the 9-game schedule, guaranteeing we have 5 home games is really nice. Just more opportunities for our community to come out and see our guys. With our new conference, most of the games are pretty close. West Plains and Carl Junction are a little bit of a drive, but it is always nice to have that extra home game and hopefully get to host another playoff game here like we did a couple years ago. And it's an opportunity for our community to get together. It's an opportunity for our booster club to have more, opportunities to make some money and help our kids out for sure.
As you look, and obviously the district's assignments have not come out yet, do you feel pretty comfortable you're going to be pretty much where you were last year?
I think so. We've been in that district a couple years now. There's always a chance, just given where we are on both Highway 65, that we bump over, Pacific direction, those kind of guys. We've been over there before. It's only happened once since I've been here, but with us in West Plains over on that side of 65, we're kind of the Class 4 teams that will move that way if something's necessary.
Kind of talk a little bit about that conference, the second year of it, I believe, second full year in that conference. You mentioned, the West Plains, Carl Junction, I believe Hillcrest, Bolivar in that conference, maybe Branson as well. But talk a little bit about that conference.
Yeah, it was really good for us, I thought. Really enjoyed being part of the Big Eight and getting the football feel of that conference. But moving over to this one, still just a lot of really good coaches, a lot of really good players, a lot of really good communities. You always feel, you don't say welcome on away games, but people take care of you, and it's you don't feel like you're being put back as a visiting team. It's always nice, and it's just a quality conference. And like I said, I think there's some really good coaches, some really good men there, and our kids are excited to go play every week. And it's nice to have a group scheduled and a smaller conference, so we can go schedule outside games if need be. That's been an advantage for us too.
And I know of at least one new coach in the conference, and that's at Bolivar with Robert Clardy, leaving SBU after 18 years there as a player and a coach. And do you know much about Clardy and what he's going to run, or is everything still pretty secret right now?
Yeah, we've met. So Robert and I played together at Southwest Baptist. I was a senior when he was a freshman, so I've known Robert for a long time. He's a Marshfield guy. He's always been really good to our kids when he was the head coach at Southwest Baptist. And, he's a fantastic guy, really good coach. And obviously Bolivar did really well with that hire. West Plains and Rogersville both have new coaches. Joel Wells stepping in at Rogersville. Obviously he's a legend and a Hall of Famer. And, that's just adding to, a really quality group of coaches in our conference. And I think Brock Kanaga is the new head coach at West Plains, been a head coach at Liberty, been an assistant over there. So there's some new guys who aren't new to coaching, but definitely new to the conference. And, we're just excited to be able to go compete.
Get underway on Monday for real. What's your Monday schedule look like? What time do you guys, kick it off or whatever? And what's Monday look like for you?
So Monday for us will be in the evening. They're finishing up our field. We got new turf this summer, and they're in the process of finishing up this week actually. So it's going to give us the ability to practice in the evening under the lights and stay out of some of the heat. So we'll kick off around 5:00 and finish late most of the week. We have teacher meetings starting because school starts, and that kind of leaves us a shorter window to practice. And since the kids aren't in school, give them the day to kind of recover and then come in the evening and practice is our plan for sure.
Well, outstanding. And where again is your jamboree?
We're hosting jamboree this year. Fairgrove and Glendale have been part of our jamboree for a long time. Pierce City is coming in this year. We're excited about that. Coach Gensler is a good dude and always has quality teams. So we're excited to bring everybody over this year.
Well, outstanding. Well, Coach, I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time here. I know it's about to ramp up for real, and we're kind of tracking coaches. We had Harrisonville on. We've got Maryville on after you, so
okay,
with Coach Webb. But I greatly appreciate you being generous and look forward to interacting at the quarterback club. Should have that schedule done and out, and look forward to seeing you there.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right, you're watching High School Game Day here on the Missouri Sports Network. Back after these messages from Central Bank.
Things are a little tight for Terrence right now. But they won't be for long, because Central Bank makes it easier for customers like Terrence to dream bigger.
More room would be nice.
With mortgage solutions that can open the door to more space.
That's what I'm talking about.
For his growing family.
Growing family?
Honey, guess what?
You got this, buddy.